We got to talk about the BTX celebrity game. How did y'all lose that game, Rome?
Bad coaching, man. Shout out to Lonzo. Bad clock management, man. Just crazy.
All right, we have a very special guest on the show with us today. He's an actor, model, and singer. I can't forget he's a hooper as well. You can catch him right now on this season of Godfather of Harlem, where he's playing Frank Lucas. Welcome Emmy Award-winning Rome Flynn to the Fumble.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, she missing a couple accolades. She ain't mentioned that she was an LA Fitness All-Star, my boy. Hall of Fame in the LA Fitness out here.
LA All-Stars, crazy.
No, hey man, we met about 10 years ago now at LA Fitness out here in LA, and I immediately noticed two things about you, bro. One, that you were an absolutely incredible basketball player, like incredible, and I say that without any merit of ego. But then also, you don't pass the ball. So my question for you,
I do though. You wasn't on my team, but you know what I'm saying.
I've been on your team, but you.
Really?
You ain't noticed. Yes, you ain't noticed because you wasn't trying to pass the ball to nobody. But, man, were you always so confident on the court, or have you gotten more confident and comfortable as you've gotten older?
Definitely when I got older. You know, when I was younger, I wasn't that good at basketball. You know, in high school, I think when I was a junior, freshman, sophomore year, I didn't make the team, right? Mm-hmm. And then as a junior, I barely made the team. And believe it or not, like, I didn't have no offensive game. I guarded the best player.
What?
School. Swear to God. No offensive game. I was like the most like athletic and like hustled more than anybody. I didn't score ever, and then I barely played. And then senior year, you know, during the summer, I was locked in at the gym. I was like, man, I want to be better. All my friends was just listening to game together, you know. So then over the summer, I worked my ass off, and then I ended up getting hurt, and then had to start the year a little bit later. But then I kind of, you know, got more into my offensive game, I guess. Confidence-wise, like after high school, for sure.
Damn, that's crazy, son. You cold. That's
appreciate you. You real for that? Hey, you real. I ain't gonna say that.
Okay, my question though, Rome. Rodney gets on this show all the time and talk about how good of a basketball player he is. Used to be good, Rome. And be honest to the viewers, because we all want to know.
No, he's tough. I'm gonna say this though. He's very strong. Like. And he's kind of tall, like he's deceptively strong. So he guarded me a couple times, but he really physical. Guys from New York, they're like that, like playing out. You're from New York, right? Right, Rodney?
Jersey.
Okay, yeah. So guys who are from the East Coast, like they're very physical, and he can shoot the three.
You know what? Thank you.
Listen, weird, but yeah, I wouldn't lie to you. I'd be real if you couldn't. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. She really wanted you to be like, he's boo boo.
He's like, he's not good.
We got to talk about the BTX celebrity game. How did y'all lose that game, Rome?
Bad coaching, man. Shout out to Lonzo. Bad clock management, man. Just crazy. No, we was up about majority of the game, and they were playing to win. Like I knew Matt Barnes was going to play to win. Flo J came over to me. She like, we got something for you. You know, so they had their best defender on me. I'm like, y'all really playing boxing one out here. This is insane. And, you know, Lonzo was like, yo, we're going to put our bench in early. I'm just like, bro, we got to still win. So he was putting in 5 at a time. You know, as if you hoop, you know, that's crazy to break up the chemistry. And so he put us in with like 5 minutes left. Like, y'all got it now. I'm like, I don't know, bro. And then everybody on my team, they weren't passing the ball. You know what I'm saying? They was just like, yo, it's my turn.
So let me ask you, man, because based on what you said earlier, you know, you didn't really have a career in high school that's worthy of any notation. Yeah. But as a grown man, as an adult, and really like in the last 5 or 6 years, you've been a part of some pretty incredible basketball moments. So what would you say is your greatest basketball achievement?
Well, winning the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game that's definitely top of the line. I feel like as a hooper who plays in the gyms and different leagues, I've played everywhere. You know, I played in the Drew League, I played in Dykeman. I played real minutes. You know, it's not like you just go in when you're down 20 or up 20. Like I've played and started those games, and playing in that arena at Oracle was just like a feeling I never had as a basketball player. And it was packed in there because I felt like there was a certain nostalgia to like going back to that arena because, you know, they moved to Oakland. And so a lot of those like Warrior fans just wanted to be in that arena again and watch and watch a game in there. So it was packed, man. And that stadium holds about 19,000. It was probably close to like 15, 14,000 people there. To play in front of that crowd and play relatively well was just like, it's like a dream come true.
All right, but when anybody has a good game in certain cities, LA, New York, Atlanta, Miami, DC, and I would think All-Star Weekend in the Bay would fall into this category. There's always extra motivation, courtside, sideline, good eyeballs on you. Yeah. So to have a good performance in front of I'm being very, very light with my language. Rome knows what I'm saying. Rome knows what I'm saying. Yeah. What was the inspiration behind your performance at All-Star Weekend?
I'm gonna be honest. I went into it being like, yo, this is just a good time. But the competitive nature in me is just so strong. And I was just like, I don't want to get out here and do too much. You won't be the guy that's going too crazy, trying to do too much. But we had a practice the day before, right? At the practice, both teams came and we did like a short, we scrimmaged at the end, but we did work on some drills and stuff, right? But for me, that was a moment to show everyone that I could hoop because no one knew I could play. I kind of joined the team last minute. I was like probably a week or two before they added my name. You know what I mean? And I had been trying to get in there for like the past couple of years. And so I was like, y'all actually got to play in the practice so I can show the coach I can hoop. And Barry Bonds wasn't there, but like one of the guys was there. And so during the actual practice, I was playing for real, getting in my tween, blah, 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 And then they were like, oh, okay, you can play. So then that was enough for me. But then my guy that coach, he trains.
Chris Brickley?
Chris Brickley was there. And he was on the other team. And my man didn't practice. He was like, no, I'm not. He just wants to play in the game. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'm like, that's kind of crazy. So he just watched us practice. And so the game comes around. And we were in the line, they were asking us questions about the game. And they asked me, like, if I wanted to win MVP. I was just like, if it happens, it happens. Like, if somebody poked a bear, then I'll play for real. But if not, I'm going to keep it chill. And then Chris got on there and said, look, I'm going for MVP. He said, I want this. I was like, damn, now I got to have it.
Now I got to go.
Say that. I need it now. So, but it sucked for him because he didn't play in the practice and then they didn't know he could hoop. And then, so he did not play that much. It was just like, bad decision for him not to play in the practice. But that really motivated me at that point, and then the first quarter I was chilling. And then I realized that Barry Bonds didn't know I could play. And then the second, 2 Chainz knew I could hoop because I kicked it with Chainz a lot. And then, second quarter came around and I didn't start. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't play around no more. Like, cause he was moving guys in and out. Like he felt like he wasn't playing well. Like, so then the second quarter started and I started playing seriously.
How difficult was it to get the guy? Cause you had some characters on your team. Was it hard to get Kai and Drewski serious?
Yo, no, those guys were serious, but they just silly, man. Like Kai wanted to score so bad. He was like, man, I just want to score one. Actually, he told me he wanted to score. I think it was like 6. He had like an over. You can bet on the games. You can bet on. Yeah, you can bet on like who can win MVP, who's gonna score what, and I don't know. Maybe he bet on himself. He was like, yo, I need to score like 6 points. I was like, I hope you score like 2. You know what I'm saying? And which I did, which was dope. But Drewski was out there just throwing the ball up. He did hit 1 3 though. He hit 1 3, but
you ain't put no money on yourself.
I couldn't even bet on myself. I wasn't even on there. That's how underdog I was. Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's crazy. What a travesty, because you could have cashed out.
Yeah, but everybody else lost their money crazy, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Man, you from the Chicago area, right? You've been in LA for how long now?
I've been in LA 10 years.
10 years, man. Time be flying.
Yeah.
Who has the better hoopers, LA or Chicago?
Chicago, for sure. I only say that because
that was real strong, Rome. The homies is gonna see
Chicago.
this.
Like, yeah, I know they're gonna see it. That's cool, but I hooped in the city and then hooped in LA. The thing is, the culture around basketball in LA is just a little bit different. It's almost like they come together like with unity when they go watch the games. Now, being in New York, when you go to Dykeman, like, it's very divisive, and so like you'll have half of the crowd like rooting for the guy from Harlem, half of the crowd rooting for the guy from the Bronx. Like, it is very, like, they take it very serious for basketball in New York. And so in LA, everyone is kind of coming together, and they don't really pick no sides, but as far as like basketball players go, I think guys in Chicago just a lot hungrier. Guys in LA a lot more flashy. They want to get the oohs and ahs. I think the guys in Chicago just dogs, more dogs in Chicago to me.
They killers.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I feel.
Killers. Okay. All right, Samari, I gotta ask this question because, like I said, when you're in LA and you hooping, you end up playing against any and everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, and LA is so small, the community is so small. Even sometimes we're connected in ways that people can't even imagine. So, give me your starting five of entertainers, celebrities, and influencers that you think would be a hard out against anybody.
Well, me, for one,
for sure.
We're gonna put me at the one. We gonna put, what's my man name? He just played in the BT. I think he's pretty solid. He like 6'8", 6'6".
Sharonis?
Nah, Party.
Okay. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. He played college ball. Yeah.
Yeah, he could play with me any day. So him, I would put Chris Brown on that list. I don't know if he's still hooping. He can still play. Who else is nice?
Ooh,
a lot of these guys are nice.
You skipping two that I know are homies adjacent. One is from Chicago. One is from Jersey. Stilo.
Oh, Stilo, yeah. But he don't really hoop that much no more.
Well, because his ankle. But historically, think back prime Stilo.
No, for real. When I first got here, he used to get busy. No, that's my guy. He definitely playing. Yeah. Who else I miss?
You could make an argument. Some would make an argument because he's strong, attacks the basket with much force. Mike.
Jordan?
Yeah. Oh, that's how I feel, but
I don't know. That's my guy. But I would add him because I'd add him just for chemistry purposes. You know, him and Steele, they probably like play hard together. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So yeah, you're not sold on that, but it's cool though. If there's anybody else later you want to add into the mix, you let me know. We can just
I got to think about that, man. I'm like, who actually really can go like that as far as entertainers? I don't really add the athletes, like guys who play different sports, like
T.O. Yeah. Playing against T.O., you'd be like, oh, you're different. Yeah. Oh, Tank.
Who?
Tank.
Tank a hoop? I didn't know that.
You never hooped with Tank or Jay Valentine?
I did hoop with Jay Valentine, but I never hooped with Tank before.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they still be hooping in LA.
Game. We got other people.
Game when he used to play in the Drew. He was a wild boy though. But yeah, there used to be fight out there.
It's been a lot of 1v1 talk lately. We just had Mike Beasley and Lance Stevenson go head up in a very sexually charged game. I don't understand. That was crazy. I don't know what Beasley was on.
Mike is crazy.
Yo, he different.
I love this dude though. I love him though. It's like the mind game was crazy. I think that worked. I ain't gonna lie. He kind of shit.
Yeah, but after the game was over, he kept it up. So I don't know if he was actually playing a mind game or if his mind just lives in that space.
I said that, Rodney.
I give you, Samaria. I give you credit, Samaria. You said that. You did. We also saw Jeff Teague and Brandon Jennings going back and forth, yapping it up. If you had to call out one person to lock horns with in a 1v1, right? Somebody that you feel like is your peer, either in talent on the court or professional success off of it, who would you want to go mano-a-mano against?
I don't know if I'd pick anybody in the industry. I mean, you could say, I don't know. Guys seem to think that Chris Brown, I forgot J. Cole, by the way, to say that these guys are really good, and I respect that. I don't think they can mess with me. Like, I don't think it's even close. Okay. Like, yeah, I'll take a 1v1 with any of them. Like Chris, we can put anything. We can do it for charity. What's my homie? Gil too.
Gil nice, yo, to be that old, to be 46, however old. Gil cold.
I see him.
He can't keep up though. You fast. Your first step is real quick. That's
a mind game at this point. You know, the one-on-one thing is less about like if you're super strong. Like we gonna play through dribbles probably.
Yeah,
hopefully.
You would hope.
Yeah, I would hope. You know.
Yeah.
It's just about that first low. Hey, I'm going already.
Is there a pro you think you could get? You think you could get Brandon Jennings right now today?
I think so. I don't think he plays enough. I don't know if he still hoops that much. No disrespect. I know he had his time in the league. I ain't definitely trying to knock that. But I think I could get him. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Unless he just tries to like bully ball me, which I don't think he still can.
Bully ball? You bigger than him.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen him in person. How tall is he? Like 6'1"?
He's like 6'5". He's one of them like 5'11", 6 guys. So
okay.
It's not, you know.
He's quick though. He got game. No lie. If it was Prime Jennings, not a chance. But I think right now, yeah, he'll underestimate me too. So I'll probably get a couple buckets just off that.
That'd be interesting. We gotta see about this, man. But this has been great.
You're not gonna play me though, but it's all good. He didn't even want to play. He didn't even want to play.
He don't want to play T. He don't really want to lock. He don't really want to mix it up like that. He just kind of yapping.
Chat. Yeah,
he yapping.
Ask Nick Young. Nick Young, I know I can hoop. We played in the league a couple times.
Yeah, hey man, Nick is as funny as he is, Nick can still play. He's a shot maker. Yeah, he's a shot maker, bro. It's hard to stop him when he gets rolling. He's hit a couple of game winners on me, unfortunately.
Rome, how would you say basketball kind of translates to acting or vice versa?
I mean, I guess it just mirrors it mirrors the team aspect, right? I mean, when you're on set, like you have to work with the people you're working with, like the director, you're working with the DP, you're working with the AD, first AD, like that's kind of like your team. And also your more immediate team is like the people in the scene with you. You feel me? And it's the same thing with basketball, like it's a thing where when you're on the court, like you don't really think about anything. You kind of let your instincts take over. It's the same thing I feel like with acting, like when you're in a scene, like you don't really want to be overthinking. You want to let your preparation just kind of take over. It's the same thing for basketball to me. So, and also it's a little competitiveness in it too. Like, just in the nature of it. It's not like you working together, but also, you got to bring it depending on who you're working with. You can't I got to be ready. Just like when you're on the court, you're playing with a couple guys that are pretty good. When I get my shots, I got to knock them down. Like playing with, for instance, like, working with Viola Davis, right? That's like LeBron. You feel me? So you on the court with Ron. When he kick you to the corner for that three, you just better hit it. You working with V, you better make sure you prepared because she gonna bring it. Yeah. So you gotta do the same.
Yeah. You worked alongside some legends. You're currently on The Godfather of Harlem. Forrest Whitaker is the lead. This is your first season on the show, man. You've also shared a screen with myself on Chicago Fire.
That's right.
That's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying?
My God, yo.
Hey, but what's
great. That's dope.
Yeah, man. We'll talk more about that. But how's your experience on The Godfather of Harlem been so far, in playing Frank Lucas, especially because Denzel has already, played that role in American Gangster. So did you go back and watch Denzel, or did you completely want to create a new character in your own depiction of Frank?
Yeah. So for one, I mean, definitely just a dream come true. As an actor, you get into a bit in this business to get the kind of responsibility to play characters like this. Now, you wouldn't want this responsibility early on, I feel like, in your career, but, I'm 10 years in, and I feel like every role I've done up to this point really prepared me to play Frank. And, yeah, just like I said, working with Viola, kind of mirrors working with Forrest Whitaker, both Academy Award winners, both giants in the field, and just incredible. And they both have amazing careers. And the pressure is there as well, too. Working with V at the point where I did, the show was on its 5th season. And that particular storyline was huge coming into that show. And then also for this, Frank Lucas has been a character that Godfather of Harlem fans have been asking for from the beginning, because, this show has a certain historical precedence that they follow a certain timeline of events that actually occurred. And so if you follow Bumpy Johnson's life, at some point that Frank Lucas meets Bumpy Johnson. And there are, certain aspects that we take creative liberties on, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate, especially certain huge events that happen through the season. So for me, playing this character was a big responsibility, right? Because I wanted to breathe new life into a character that sort of had already had his story open and shut. With Denzel, it's like anything he touches, it just becomes his, And it didn't feel like a tall task in the sense of him doing it before me. But there's always that perception, when people watch it, they're going to say, oh, he didn't do it like Denzel, or, well, that's the point. Denzel is one of our greatest actors ever, right? I'm not in a competition with him. We're in a totally different race right now. So yeah. I didn't draw any inspiration from Denzel. I'm inspired by him, but I didn't go and look and see what he did. I've seen the movie enough. I could probably recite lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it wasn't really about that. You feel me? Like, Frank Lucas, at his core, he wasn't the Frank Lucas we know when we meet him on the show, right? Mm-hmm. We know Frank Lucas to be infamous drug dealer, unpredictable, guy who flies, to Asia, to, he made the connections, he did all those things. But when we meet him, he's just a kid, from the South and trying to adjust himself in New York. And that was my goal, was to try to depict what that might have looked like. And I feel like just trying to capture his essence as opposed to like mirror who he was or talk like him or move like him. And try to just, for real, like at his foundation, just create a character that was fully dimensional and complex. Because that's what's interesting to watch.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like a character that's struggling with his morality, struggling with his decision-making, whether good or bad, and having to live with it. And the repercussions of decisions that he makes, because in reality, that's universal to all of us. You feel me? We all make decisions that at some point in our lives that we wish we hadn't or wish we did. We got to live with it, but we all trying to figure it out. And so I just wanted to try to connect that, make that connection and distinction, and give him sort of like these redeeming qualities so that when you watch it, although he's doing these things, robbing and stealing, killing, you still want to root for him, right? You still want to be like, feel for him though. And so that's the only goal that I had this season, was to make sure people felt like that when they watched it.
Yes. And I think you've done a great job. We had Marquand Smith on the show a couple of months ago. He talked about how they were so elated to have you on as Frank Lucas, a young Frank Lucas. But yeah, Rome, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
This has been a pleasure and a privilege, man. You've been on one hell of a run over the last 6-7 years, man. It's been so much ascension and so much growth, not just in your professional work, but as a person. It feels like you're freer, you're lighter. And not that I know you to the depths of your core, but I can clearly see some evolution and growth as a man. And so I'm excited for what's to come for you, brother. Like it's only up from here. I can tell.
My brother, I appreciate y'all having me on. Let's not ignore the fact that we worked together. That was cool as hell. We was on set together. We was in the scene together.
We were in the scene together.
I think we talked to each other on Chicago Fire.
I don't think our characters.
Kinda. Came in like, yo, you gotta watch that. Go look my man up on that. He came in like, yo.
Yeah, I need to go look at that.
I'm gonna say this. Yo, when I seen Rome in Chicago, right? We were shooting Chicago Fire. My man wasn't happy like that. He was like, yo, they got me out here freezing my ass off at 3-4 in the morning.
I was happy, but it was just like, yo, it was crazy. But I love it. I love that crew there. I love that cast there. I was dead tired. But man, that was an incredible cast though and crew, right? Like working on that show.
Yeah, for sure. But now you in Puerto Rico, you're going to shoot in Puerto Rico. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. See what's going on.
Yeah, I dig what I said. I dig it.
Yeah, you all just go check out the full season 4 of Godfather of Harlem. Let us know what you think of Rome Flynn's character. He's playing Frank Lucas. It's amazing. Drop down in the comments and let us know.